Let me start with a question. Have you ever walked away from a conversation and thought to yourself, why did I say that? Why did I agree when I didn't really want to? Why did I feel like the other person was steering everything while I was just following along? It's a quiet feeling, a feeling that you were not really in control of the dialogue, but instead the dialogue was in control of you. We've all been there, a meeting with a colleague, a difficult talk with a friend, an unexpected chat with someone you admire, and somehow they manage to guide the entire exchange without raising their voice, without being rude, without even making it obvious. That's because conversations aren't just about words, they are about psychology. And if you understand psychology, even just a little, you can begin to shape conversations in a way that feels natural, subtle, and deeply powerful. Before we jump into these hidden psychological tricks, I want you to do something simple. Share in the comments where you're watching from, and more importantly, tell me, what are your biggest struggles when it comes to communication? Do you find yourself being ignored? Do you struggle to express your thoughts clearly? Or do you sometimes feel invisible in a room full of people? Now, put your device on full screen and stay with me till the end, because what I'm about to reveal are 5 timeless psychological secrets that can change the way you experience every single conversation in your life. And here's the first one. Psychological trick number 1, the power of silence. Most people think conversations are about speaking, about filling every gap, about answering immediately, about keeping the dialogue flowing so there are no awkward pauses. But here's a secret. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in human communication. When you pause after speaking, or when you don't rush to fill the gap after someone else has spoken, you create what psychologists call a processing space. Our brains are wired to dislike unfinished patterns, so when you leave a pause, the other person feels an irresistible urge to fill it. Sometimes they reveal more than they planned. Sometimes they soften their stance. Sometimes the pause itself deepens the weight of your words. Think of the last time someone asked you a question and then just waited. Didn't jump in, didn't rush you. That silence almost felt like a spotlight, didn't it? It nudged you to explain more, to share more, to open up. That's the gravity of silence. It communicates without words. It can calm, it can press, it can control, without ever looking controlling. And if you master it, you will realize that sometimes the loudest thing you can say is nothing at all. But silence is only one part of the puzzle. Let's move to the second trick. Psychological trick number 2, mirroring without mimicking. Human beings are creatures of connection. We are constantly, unconsciously searching for familiarity. For this person feels like me. That's why we lean in when someone else leans in. It's why we smile when someone smiles at us. It's not manipulation, it's biology. It's called the chameleon effect. Now, here's the interesting part. When you mirror someone's body language, their tone, or even their choice of words, subtly, gently, they begin to feel understood. And once someone feels understood, the walls between you and them start to dissolve. But here's the catch. It has to be authentic. If you force it, they'll notice. If you exaggerate it, they'll feel mocked. True mirroring is about tuning in, not copying. For example, if someone speaks softly, you soften your tone. If they use particular phrases like "to be honest" or "you know what I mean," you sprinkle those same words back into the conversation. Suddenly, the rhythm of the dialogue feels synchronized. And in that rhythm, you begin to guide, not by force, but by resonance. By making the other person feel like you're moving with them, not against them. It's almost musical. 2 instruments playing in harmony until one leads into the next melody, and the other follows without even noticing. But here's something even more fascinating. Mirroring doesn't just work with strangers. It works with loved ones, with colleagues, with anyone. Because the underlying truth is this: people don't just want to be listened to, they want to be felt. And once you've given them that gift of resonance, they will follow your lead almost instinctively. Now, before I share the third trick, let me open a loop here, because this one is something you've probably felt before, but never had the words to describe. It's a technique that can make even a short, ordinary conversation turn into something unforgettable. And if you've ever wondered why some people seem magnetic, why their words stay with you long after the conversation ends, this next secret is the reason. Psychological trick number 3, the curiosity cliff. Have you ever started watching a show And even though you were tired, you ended up clicking next episode at 2 a.m. Why? Because of one thing: unfinished stories, cliffhangers, open loops. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Our minds remember and obsess over unfinished tasks more than completed ones. In conversation, this means if you hint at something without finishing it right away, the other person will lean in. They'll want to know more. For example, imagine saying, "You know, something happened to me last week that completely changed the way I think about trust, but I'll tell you about it in a second." Notice what happens. You've created an open loop. The listener's brain is now hooked. They want the payoff, and until they get it, their attention belongs to you. This is why great storytellers, charismatic leaders, and even close friends who make you hang on to their words use curiosity as a quiet engine in their conversations. They don't spill everything at once. They drip feed. They pace the reveal. And in doing so, they keep you engaged, not just politely listening. But let's take this one step deeper. Because curiosity in conversation isn't just about control, it's about connection. By creating an unresolved setup, you invite the other person to walk with you, step by step, until the story unfolds. They feel like part of the journey, not just the audience. And when you give them the resolution, when you finally share the hidden detail, they feel rewarded. The cycle of curiosity and payoff cements the memory of the conversation in their mind. They won't just remember what you said. They'll remember how you made them feel, suspended, curious, alive in the dialogue. Now, I want to leave you with this thought before we continue to the next secrets. Communication is less about words and more about experience. If you can make someone feel curious, they'll remember the conversation forever. But we're only halfway there. The next two psychological tricks will dive into something even more profound: how emotions and framing can quietly shift the balance of any dialogue in your favor. And these are the ones that often separate good communicators from extraordinary ones. Psychological trick number 4, emotional framing. Let's pause for a moment and think about this. Have you ever noticed how the same sentence can mean completely different things depending on the emotional frame behind it? If someone says, "We need to talk," with a serious tone, your heart tightens. If they say the exact same words with a smile, it feels comforting. The words are the same, but the emotional frame shifts everything. This is because humans don't respond to words alone. We respond to the emotional lens through which those words are delivered. And here lies a powerful truth. If you learn to set the emotional frame of a conversation, you quietly guide how the other person experiences it. For example, if a tense topic comes up, you can choose to frame it as an opportunity instead of a confrontation. You might say, "I see this as a chance to understand each other better," instead of, "We need to settle this right now." The difference is subtle, but the impact is massive. Neuroscience shows us that our emotional brain processes information faster than our rational brain, which means long before someone logically analyzes your words, their emotions have already decided how they feel about you. That's why emotional framing is such a quiet form of influence. And here's something even deeper. The emotions you carry into a conversation are contagious. If you approach someone with calm energy, they begin to soften. If you radiate enthusiasm, they begin to rise. If you lead with curiosity, they lean into curiosity too. So ask yourself, what frame do I want to set? What feeling do I want them to leave with? Because if you control the emotional lens, you control the memory of the conversation. But there's still one final trick, one that might be the most powerful of them all. Psychological trick number 5, the power of listening beyond words. We often think communication is about speaking, persuading, explaining. But the deepest form of control doesn't come from speaking at all. It comes from listening. Not ordinary listening, not the kind where you wait for your turn to talk, but listening so deeply that the other person feels seen in a way they rarely ever feel. There's a saying, people don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And nothing makes someone feel more respected, more valued, more drawn to you than realizing you are truly hearing them. When you nod at the right moment, when you reflect back their feelings with words like, "It sounds like you've been carrying a lot," or, "I can tell this really matters to you." You're not just listening, you're validating. You're telling their subconscious, your voice matters here. And when someone feels that, they naturally open themselves to your influence. It's paradoxical, isn't it? The way to control a conversation is not by dominating it, but by creating a space so safe that the other person willingly follows your lead. Great leaders do this. Great friends do this. even strangers who leave a lasting impression often do this without realizing it. Because listening beyond words isn't passive. It's the most active, powerful choice you can make in a dialogue. And here's a secret. When you listen deeply, you often hear more than what's being said. You catch the hesitations, the shifts in tone, the silences that mean more than the words themselves. And in those quiet spaces, you'll find the real truth of the conversation. Now, let's put all of this together. Silence, mirroring, curiosity, emotional framing, listening beyond words. 5 psychological tricks that, when used with care and authenticity, don't just control conversations, they transform them. But let me be clear, these aren't tools for manipulation, they're tools for connection, because the greatest power in communication is not to win or to dominate, but to understand and be understood. Think about the last truly meaningful conversation you had. Maybe it was with someone you love, maybe it was with a mentor, maybe it was with a stranger who surprised you with their kindness. What made it memorable wasn't just the exchange of words, it was the feeling, the sense that you were present, alive, seen. That's what these psychological secrets can do when practiced with sincerity. They can turn everyday interactions into moments of genuine impact. They can take the ordinary and make it unforgettable. And maybe the bigger lesson here is this. Conversations are not battles to win. They are bridges to build. They are chances to leave people better than you found them. They are opportunities not just to express, but to connect. So the next time you step into a conversation, whether it's a casual chat with a friend, an important meeting, or even a moment of conflict, remember these 5 truths. Pause and let silence speak. Mirror gently so they feel understood. Plant curiosity so they lean in. Frame emotions so they see the world through your lens. And above all, listen so deeply that they forget for a moment the noise of the world and remember only that they mattered, here, with you. If you carry these 5 secrets into your life, conversations will never feel the same. They will feel alive, they will feel powerful, and most importantly, they will feel human. And now I want to leave you with a final thought. We live in a world where everyone is speaking, but very few are truly communicating. Everyone wants to be heard, but very few are willing to hear. The ones who master these psychological secrets are not just better communicators, they are better companions, better leaders, better souls. Because at the heart of every conversation, beneath the tricks and the psychology, lies something timeless, the human desire to connect. And if you can honor that desire, if you can guide it with wisdom, you will not only control conversations, you will elevate them. So I ask you again, what are your personal struggles with communication? Share them in the comments. Not just because I want to know, but because sometimes putting words to our struggles is the first step in changing them. And as you move forward, I invite you to experiment. Try silence, try mirroring, try curiosity, try framing, try listening. Watch how people respond. Watch how dialogues change. Watch how suddenly you are not just having conversations, you are shaping them. That is the quiet art. That is the hidden power. And that is the gift of truly understanding psychology in communication. Because at the end of the day, it's not about controlling others. It's about controlling the space you create. And in that space, you have the power to turn every word into something meaningful.